Next question.
Say who you are and your agency.
Thank you, Honorable Engineer Winnie Byanyima. Of all the years, I've been one of your great admirers. My name is William Langa. I work with the Beg Media. We have a website and TV section. Yes, considering your fight against the injustices leveled against your husband, Besigye, retired, you seem to be a better president, as we have seen elsewhere else globally. Do you have plans of standing for presidents at one point in time? Thank you.
Now look at this one, the angle he has brought. Thank you for your question. This is not the question I'm thinking about right now. Right now, my mind is on freedom for Dr. Kiiza Besigye. We can't have people who just say things are not going well, like these young noob people who say we don't have jobs, we don't have this, and you end up in the court martial. This is not an environment that is acceptable in Uganda. It's not a political environment where we can have competing ideas in politics. I'm committed to fighting this. And now I'm here to fight for the freedom of Dr. Kiiza Besigye. Questions about who would run for president and all that, well, I'm watching to see. I'm watching to see who wants to stand, and if there is a good team to work with, I could, but it's not my primary occupation now.
How has your husband deteriorated to a wheelchair now?
Weakness. Dr. Kiiza Besigye's personal doctor was there to see him 2 times in this last week. One time she had him taken to a clinic, private clinic in Golobi, and they checked all his organs. They found that all of them were okay, except that his kidneys were beginning to suffer some damage because of not drinking enough. So we advised him to drink more and more water. But by the time they took him to court yesterday, it was his 8th day of not eating. He was extremely weak. He had told me the day before that he feels dizzy, so he keeps lying down. When he sits down, the dizziness is high. So I suspect he's not able to walk because of weakness, and even to sit up for long because of weakness. But I suspect now that he started having fluids, yesterday he started having fluids, that in another 2-3 days he should be able to get up and walk. Thank you for your concern.
My name is Sandra from Legal State Finance. We talked about Dr. Besigye being brought to the civil court. Should we expect justice this time around?
The civil courts.
Justice now.
That's an interesting question, because the courts, like other institutions, the president has interfered with them, intimidated them, manipulated them. It is difficult to know. We cannot say outright that we'll get justice, but we will try. We'll do our best to get justice. Look, even now, after kidnapping Kiiza Besigye, he did a quick change in the judiciary. He took some 2 men and put them in the Constitutional Court. Of course, he knows we have a case there. We have a case there in the Constitutional Court. We want the Constitutional Court to say whether it is right to kidnap somebody in another country and then accuse them of treason in another country. That is going to be decided by the Constitutional Court. But he has very quickly put in 2 new judges. We don't know why, but it seems that the intention is to influence that court. Even the lower court, he has appointed many new judges. Some of them have close connections with his party and himself. We'll see. The law is the law. They are required to judge according to the law. And the judicial system is international. Whatever ruling you make gets into the books and becomes a precedent. If you do bad law, you dig a hole for yourself. So let's see. But by and large, we expect justice, because we have got it in the past that courts have been able to rule justly.
Thank you. My name is Edward. Baguma. And for us who have read some history, your family and the family of President Museveni enjoyed some good relationship long ago. How does it feel like that your better half is being treated the way it's being treated now? And what would it take to mend your relationship with the other family of the way it's treated?
You asking about our relationship with President Museveni as a family. Let me, first of all, discourage people from looking at this from a personal angle, but also answer the personal question. President Museveni is our friend, it's true, and for a very long time with our family, and that friendship remains. It doesn't go away. But we don't agree politically. Disagreed with him politically. I did, my father did, and we maintain that we don't agree politically. But the family friendship remains. I think it should not be hard to see. There must be many other families where one is left, another is right, and so on. So I don't want to make the family thing an issue in this campaign. But the other day, I did mention an incident where my family reached out to support his mother, who was being politically persecuted. The point I was trying to make at that time was that some people were making the case that let us pray for him to change his heart, to change his mind. And I was saying to them, he is who he is, he's not going to change. He can be unsympathetic with people. That's his nature. Don't expect him to change. But I was not in any way trying to suggest that because we had a relationship, therefore he must not bring a case against Besigye. No, it doesn't work like that. He has brought cases against me. I was in prison. They have ever read me charge and caution treason. I faced a sedition case for 2 years. I faced a case of illegal possession of guns for 2 years. We can be charged. We are citizens like another. Having a relationship with him is not an insulation against a charge. All I was trying to say to people is that stop praying for his character to change. You know, you can have a relationship with him and he can see you in another light, and that's okay too. That's okay too. We're not asking for special favor because we once knew him. No, but I'm just explaining to people, don't expect him to be a different kind of human being. That's who he is. So let me leave that there, that we have a family relationship. It has endured many, many years.
Don't you feel betrayed?
Not from a family perspective, but on the one hand, I feel that the country has been betrayed. I feel that comrades like Kiiza Besigye and myself as a comrade, we have been betrayed because we went out with the same political objectives. Today we see that he does not represent them anymore. He abandoned them. He abandoned the movement. He built personal power. He runs the country with his family. The movement is not the movement we once knew. So, yeah, we feel betrayed politically. But from a family perspective, no, I don't feel betrayal there.
My question is regarding this audio clip that is first, I think in the first week Dr. Kiiza Besigye was produced in court. There was audio clip that started circulating, and then later it was published in New Vision, and it keeps reappearing in media. The other day I heard Ananda on television saying that he has verified it's authentic. It's Dr. Besigye having a conversation to unseat a government. Are you aware about this audio clip, and do you think it is authentic, or you think it's actually part of the framing that you're talking about?
I heard those videos, but I cannot comment about them, and I don't understand what they are. Because, I mean, if they are about a plan to do something, we need to hear more. You can't, on the basis of a 1 minute clip, conclude that there is a big plan here. Why don't they bring everything? If they want us to hear and make up our minds, how do we make our minds on the basis of a 1 minute or 2 minute clip? What can you read in that? A plan to overthrow a government can't be in 1 minute. You need a story. You need to see people. You need to know who was trying to do what. So it seems that this is just propaganda. And that's why I called you, to help the country understand that we are being abused actually. If you have a case like we see in the church, that he had meetings, I don't know, in this city and that city and that city, that's a plan. Now, put that plan down on the table and we see that he was in this meeting with X and they plotted like this, then they went and met again here and they plotted like this. We're waiting for that. When it comes in court, he who alleges must prove. They will put their case and we will defend ourselves. But now, when you are just pulling out little 1 minute here to mesmerize, this is propaganda. It's bad propaganda. So I would say to anyone who gets those audios that just say, keep your audios, bring everything in the court, let us hear the whole story and we will answer it. And we are not going to make the mistake to run after them to say, oh, that audio I have heard. Oh, Besigye voice. Now can't you have my voice here? Hey, if you have my voice and you take it somewhere, and you don't tell them she was at a press conference, I could be doing something bad. We need the context. We need to know who is he talking to, what is being proposed. All that is not in that little audio. So, propaganda, propaganda, propaganda. If you have a good case, you wouldn't go building propaganda against someone. But the aim is to destroy Kiiza Besigye's reputation, tell the public how bad he is, how he's against people, how he wants to destroy the country, and you go to court and lose the case, but you have made him dirty here. That's the whole point. Windas himself said it. He said, we know that that case might not stand in court, but we are determined to convict him in the court of public opinion. Yeah? Okay. Maybe they own many radios, but we'll also go there and explain. This is it. I would dismiss them. I would say, let them bring all of them and anything else in the court. We will answer.
Thank you so much. Once again, you say you politically disagree with Museveni. You say you only politically disagree with Museveni. Now with Uganda's democracy that has proven to be cosmetic, with less or no meaning in the eyes of the local people, do we still need the 2026 general elections as in the current state? Do we still need it?
Do we still need elections? We need elections. But we need good elections, elections that are meaningful, where people have a real choice, where people's votes are not stolen and bribery and all of that. We need elections. And we need to start now talking about the quality of those elections. You see, we have moved to a point where we have a totalitarian, a leader who doesn't distinguish himself from the law. Everything, he tells every institution to do what he wants. He is the law. He has made himself the law. Electoral Commission must deliver what he wants. Courts have to give him what he wants. Parliament must make the laws he wants. He's substituted himself for the law. This is the situation Uganda is in. But to rescue it, we have to keep pushing back against his takeover of key institutions. So we will go into an election like that, but fighting to stop him from manipulating it. We cannot do without them.
My name is Walter Besigye from NTV. You said there's been a lot of misinformation, disinformation, slander, and by extension it has extended to your name and the work you do. How do you respond to, that category of people that have particularly included everything else that you do? I mean, your family. How do you feel about it?
Like what?
Yeah, on social media, for example, we've seen
they attack my son.
Yeah, they attack your son, they attack your personality. The other day, a gentleman called Adonia was on your case, on the work you do. And also to bear in mind that this is just a few months away from the general election. Do you feel it's anything targeted?
I mean, people get personal, and most of that you shrug it off because it's meant to be diversionaries. It's meant to distract from the public issues. So most of the time, the best way is to just dismiss it. But sometimes when they are saying things that could hurt your message, then you address them. In the case of Adonia, he was trying to say that two things. One, that I am an international civil servant, therefore I must not comment on this question of my husband and how he was being treated. And I said to him, no. There is no job I have which tells me that I cannot defend my husband. If there was such a job, I would quit. Because the first thing you enter a job to do is to look after your family. You don't abandon your family. Then the second point was saying you are an international civil servant, you must not. No, the second thing he was saying is that Museveni helped you to get a job, therefore you must not comment on Museveni, on that one. That's really, really ridiculous. Because on the one hand, Museveni didn't help me get a job. I applied and I was selected for a job. He is like other presidents who are usually asked to give a no objection. That doesn't mean that if he gives objection, they will refuse. No. America, Sweden, Uganda, Rwanda, a number of countries were asked, this is the person you have chosen, what do you think? You just say yes, you can't say no. So, even if it was that, me, Winnie Byanyima, you do not buy me. No, I am in my job because I was put in the job because I was valued for who I am, what I bring, the perspectives I have, the networks I have, the skills I have. So you can't come to me and this is how he runs the system in Uganda. This is not how he runs other people. I am my own person and I give my views. And even if he had ever gotten me a job, which is not true, he would not buy my voice. My voice is my voice, my views are my views. So I dismiss that, and I don't want to go back into those stories because they are diversionary, totally diversionary. I'm Winnie Byanyima with my own mind, doing a global job in the best possible way I can, and allowed that space to defend my husband, not to become a political leader here or to take a side, but to defend my husband.
Engineer Winnie Byanyima,
Yeah.
on several occasions, it appears President Museveni has attempted to kill your husband. Do you have plans to expose him?
I do, and I will. Let this case start in court, and I will also show you, I will also tell you here how many times they've tried to kill Besigye and failed. It's true.
Recently, the army spokesperson said that they were going to kill Besigye from Nairobi.
Actually, I didn't hear that, but what I heard was Andrew Mwenda last night. He said, correct me if I'm wrong, that for him, he was in a very emotional state, and his emotion seems to be that he was so aggrieved that Besigye wanted to kill Museveni. That if it was him, he would have killed Besigye in Kenya. Mwenda saying he would have killed Besigye. I don't know whether this is even, I don't know whether we should even go to the police and notify the police that there's someone with intent to kill. I found it really shocking. But thank God he was not killed. Thank God he was brought here, and we are going to go to a civilian court. But all this nastiness, I have to tell you, is so unfortunate for all of us in Uganda. We need a country that is managed in a civil way, where politics is managed well, people come in and people come out, and we, the rest of the people, just benefit from good decisions. This is what's happening in other countries. The other day in Namibia, my friend Netumbo Ndaitwa, a woman, was elected president. She hasn't yet taken over. She's waiting for inauguration. But there was no big fuss. She won the election. She's going to be named. She's the first woman to be the president. No fuss. Didn't even make news here. The other day in Ghana, the government lost. The opposition leader won. It wasn't big news because it all goes smoothly, properly, according to the law. Here, this refusal to respect institutions, the Constitution, this I am going to rule because I have the army, because I am strong, is costing us so much. All these kids you see, we have no jobs, we have no jobs. Where will they get them from if Uganda is not stable? If everybody is waiting for the person who will shoot out Museveni and bring his own army, build his own army, who is going to bring their money here and start big businesses? I was recently at the World Economic Forum in Davos. I was in a room with presidents, prime ministers, ministers of finance, and central bank governors. And in this meeting, business people were there, those who own companies that are global. Somebody like the head of Heineken beer was there. Someone from Google was there. So these companies were talking about how they are investing in Africa. All of them kept mentioning, now you could see where is money going in Africa. They spoke about South Africa, they spoke about Ghana, they spoke about Kenya, and they spoke about Ethiopia and even Rwanda, 5 countries. Not one single person mentioned Uganda. You can see that investment flows are going to countries that are relatively free, where the rule of law works, where there's predictability in transitions. This is where money goes. This is where jobs are created. Not here, where we are all waiting for another war or some coup or yeah. So this violence in politics costs ordinary people their jobs.
Thank you. I'm Samuel Mosigo with Baba TV. During that live, do you feel Dr. Kiiza Besigye, his life is in tension? Because when you look at the letter which President Museveni wrote, and the sequence of events since he was arrested from Kenya, do you one of the times sit and feel like fear of his life? And secondly, do you have the details of Besigye's journey when he went to Kenya? Because when he was arrested, the government reported otherwise.
I'll answer that last part first, because I've heard some manipulation on TV by Opondo and others. Colonel Kiiza Besigye left here on a Saturday because on Sunday there was going to be a book launch by Martha Karua, his friend, launching her autobiography on Sunday morning. He arrived in Kenya on Saturday, like mid-afternoon, and he checked into a hotel. He had another meeting with someone he knew, whom he'd been working with, on strengthening the new party they are forming. So he went to see this person in the afternoon. Turns out that this person is the one who led to his arrest. He hadn't yet gone to his book launch. The book launch was going to be the next day in the morning. They waited for him. He never showed because he had been abducted at about 5 o'clock in the evening. So that's the story. So that was the first part of your questions. I wanted to make it clear because they kept saying, but if he was going for the launch, why was he now meeting somebody? When you go to a town, you go there to only one thing. This is a bit stupid. When you go to a place, you do your maybe 3 meetings, you do some shopping, you visit a relative, you don't just do one thing and fly back. So that was it, that he had a book launch and he had a meeting with a friend. That's it. Then he got picked up. So your first question was to be afraid of
the life of Besigye, according to some statements.
The life of Dr. Besigye hasn't been normal. When that day we came back from a party at Parliament, there was a party to end the year. It was coming to November there or September. Parliament held a party to close, before they closed Sendai. We came home. It was midnight. When I got into bed, he was sitting in the bed and he said, I have something to say to you. So I also sat. And he said, I am going to run against Museveni. I remember telling him that, Besigye, do you realize that this is going to change our lives forever? He said, yes. I said, do you realize this is like a one-way ticket? He said, yes. Because I realized that he had not mentally yet started to think that he can be competed with. He was thinking, we are in the movement, I'm going to always be the single candidate. And indeed, when he declared, the next day, he immediately came out with a horrible statement saying, Besigye, a traitor, I will put you 6 feet under, meaning I'll kill you. Since then, our lives have changed, and Besigye has lived for 25 years as a hounded man, hounded. There were years he was under house arrest here. They didn't call it so, but there were guards that are down at the road and guards here at this gate. They would stop him going out when they don't want. They would allow him when they want. When we were building this house, there was a neighbor who had just built a shell of a house, wasn't yet a house. Security came and bought the house from him and finished it and put themselves there to keep watching what goes on here. That neighbor there, for a long time, had a camera that looks right into our house. Recently, it was removed. We don't know why. But he was good enough to tell us that they wanted to put things on top of my house. They are there. But there was a camera there for years. We never had meetings here because we knew they were watching us. So we've lived like that, that whatever he does, wherever he goes, he's being watched, he's being followed. If he insists on going out, they will arrest him and bring him back at night. This is it. This is how to live as opposition here. Hounded. So we're not afraid. We've lived like that.
Yes, Honorable Winnie, the NRM.
Where was you've been speaking?
Yeah, my name is Museveni Davis Wakarinja, and I work for Voice of America.
You work for?
For Voice of America. Yeah, this case of Dr. Kiiza, I've seen opposition leaders come together. I'm saying, with this case of Dr. Kiiza, I've seen high-profile opposition leaders like Honorable Chagulanyi, Mujishamuntu to come together and stand with you in this whole case, like the other time at the High Court. How important has this been to you? And do you think going forward, opposition leaders should always come together when there is a need to rise against the government?
Yes, I welcome that coming together of all progressive forces. It has been very encouraging to see many groups coming together to protest this lawlessness, this blatant abuse of our constitution, and speaking with one voice. They invited us to go to a meeting to pray for political prisoners. I went there at the NUP party headquarters because it was prayers for all. It was not a partisan thing. But these actions are important to come together, because when you look at all the parties now, their state of health, it's actually a reflection of our leader, President Museveni. Each party now is broken into two, if not three. Take DP, take CP, Buga's left, take UPC, and now FDC. Each party has a part which he has broken off using money. So coming together is so important, because the fragmentation is he's fragmenting them to weaken them, but pulling together is the way to really put up a resistance to the regime.
Are we done?
Yes, Honorable Winnie, the NRM party has gone to, the NRM caucus has gone to State House in Entebbe to see their chairman and also convene and look forward on how to change the decision by the ruling by the Supreme Court ruling that civilians should not face the court martial. So, what is your position on that? They are trying to redress what was ruled by the Supreme Court.
There is a law that says Parliament must not make any law to reverse a decision of the court. So if they do that, they will be in breach of that law. It will be a very bad precedent to set that a parliament is trying to overthrow a decision of the judiciary. But they are not very sensitive about that. That caucus is full of members of parliament. Think about it, there are more than 500. Only about 200 of them are parliamentarians who came back. The majority are new. We've got to a point where most of them don't last more than one term. Only 200 are in a second term. So every election, so many are thrown out. That's why when they arrive, they are trying to find ways to make a lot of money to go to buy voters, but it doesn't seem to work. So the parliamentarians are out to please the president because they fear that come the election, he can deploy the army, he can deploy money to fight them. They want his support. So they will be wanting to sign whatever he gives them because all that's in their head is, will I make it back? That's the sad thing. We'll see.
Last question. Very last thing.
Yes, please. Looking at the lawlessness of the country, what's the fate of Uganda? It's politics. And then my last other question, if you met Museveni today, what would you tell him?
One, the state of lawlessness is very worrying. We are becoming more and more a criminal state. Our country can easily slide to become like some. Do you see Haiti? Haiti is a criminal state. I was there recently, and gangs control like 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince. And they charge taxes, they control parts of the country. These are gangs, gangs selling drugs and all of that. We could easily fall into the direction of being a criminal state with more and more groups setting themselves up here to break the law and make money. That's one outcome. The other one is that we could return to a situation of insurrection where some youth, desperate, now start fighting the government using any guise. A lot of young people tend to now fall behind religion and fight really for justice using the religious platform. This is what you got when in Nigeria, Boko Haram came up. Boko Haram came up in northeast Nigeria. When they started, there were young people like you trying to help to get young people to survive in a country where they were totally neglected. The elites would all be born in the rest of the country. You can imagine elites from Acholi or Giswe, all would head to the capital to get a bit of an oil mine, to get a job in the city. And all the regions were full of young people with no jobs, no development, no roads, no health, nothing. So these youth started to organize themselves to say, let's help ourselves, let's build our clinic, and they were using religion. They would be around the mosque. They are mostly Muslim. Oxfam, the organization I led, actually supported them, gave them training on advocacy, on how to champion their own rights, how to make income generating projects. When they became militant and they started telling the government that why don't we have jobs, why don't we have this, the police came in and killed some of them and stood there and said, if anybody makes another noise, we will show them. That was when Boko Haram went to the bush and became international. It went to the bush because they were killed. In the bush, they found there ISIS, the international Islamic State organization, and they became now part of international terrorism. Now they can't get rid of Boko Haram in the northeast. It's a battleground between the government and the rebels. Government has never taken the region back, or no state. I'm giving you this story to tell you how it's possible for this country also to start breaking up and being a country where the state is not able to control all the borders. People are angry and are setting up little resistance groups against the government that doesn't care about them. So we have to think hard about how to keep our country together. And keeping it together means having a government that responds to the needs of people, that is promoting development in all parts of the country, that there is equality of people, the jobs are shared fairly, and all these things. I worry that Uganda will go into an economic regression, and that young people will take the law into their own hands. Those things worry me. It doesn't have to be like that. Right?
My second question, you met President Museveni, what would you tell him? That was the last question, kind of case.
I'll tell him to take a few steps back. He'll take a few steps back and address the transition. We need a peaceful, transparent, inclusive transition from you. Set up a national dialogue. Let it be facilitated neutrally. Bring your friends like the Nyerere Foundation to come and moderate a discussion between all political forces about the transition from you. Let the basic things happen, like changing the Electoral Commission, like defining the role of the army to keep them out of elections. Those are some of the things I would say to him. And I would say to him, retire your son from the army, take him and get him some care, and appoint somebody competent to take care of that very important institution.
Thank you so much. I know the generals would want you to speak.
But I have some more for you another time. That one of Besigye wants to kill him. We are also going to show who he has killed. It will come. Bwagala mu Luganda. Bati kibuuzo kibya ne.
No, kati mugendo kukola mu Luganda tukole Q&A. I think so. Q&A, they ask a question and answer.
Bitono.
I have questions.
Ate byangu.
Keep it short.
Ebitali bigumu.
Museveni.
Bamutamwesiga nsane babaki. Ekibuuzo kyange. Retired conductor Kiiza Besigye yakwatibwa okuva e Kenya. Bo abali mu gavumenti balina emboozi z'ekawe ekyamutwala mu Kenya. n'olukiiko olwo lwe yabeeramu nga tanabagenda mu kutongoza akatabo wategeerako details z'olukiiko olwo then ekirala
olukiiko lwaki
olukiiko luli oli gwe yasisinkana nga tanabagenda mukolo ogw'okutongoza akatabo wategeerako details z'olugendo lwa retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye ogenda e Kenya then ekisembayo Dr. Kiiza Besigye ng'ali mu kkomera wabaddewo okutiisibwatiisibwa ekesini point ye CDF ng'agamba ngenda mujja ku mutwe totyamu n'okulowooza nti one time ogenda kusanga retired Dr. Kiiza Besigye afiiridde mu kkomera neyanyiza
ekibuuzo ekisooka njujukiza ekisooka kyabadde ki
olukiiko lwe yagendamu ekiteeka
Okiiko yaŋŋamba nti yali agenze ku mitingo omuntu yali agambye nti agenda kuwagira ekibiina kyabwe mobilization omanyi nga Museveni yabbako ekitundu abo banandala ne bagenda ne batwala ne building yabwe sente zaabwe kati bano nga baagala kubayamba okuzzamu ekibiina kyabwe baddemu bo bazimbe branch zaabwe kyeyali ayogera n'oyo omusajja ekyo kyemmanyi naye okutuukayo ate ne bamubba ne bamutwala ate n'ole yamuyita agenda omuyamba naye n'afuluma n'adduka kitegeeza nti naye yali amulimba so eyo sole tujja kugyongerako nga bali mu kooti ekyokubiri
tofunamu kutya ebigambo ebyogerwa n'abali mu gavumenti kati nga CDF yawandiika nti agenda kumuggyako omutwe agenda kumutta
okutya ntya era n'ennaku zino ntambula ne sapule yange nsaba Katonda ntya lwaki sitya omusajja ye CDF mukulu w'amagye agamba nti ate akakiiko aka kooti kabadde k'amagye ye mukulu waako agambye nti alagidde nti ono muntu wakufa ate bayinza kumuwa ekirala era balina okugamba nti afe badde ntidde nnyo era n'okulwana nti kooti y'amagye bagijjewo tubadde wano nga tugezaako buli kimu kyonna omusajja oyo ekituufu ndaba nti tali bulungi omuntu ali bulungi mutwe tayogera bw'atyo oleka kooti neemala omulimu gwayo neesalawo ate tosalawo ng'omuntu tanawozebwa kyo kyokusooka ndaba nti tali bulungi mulwadde mu mutwe ekyokubiri kyendaba kiriwo ekiti nti bw'aba asazeewo bw'atyo ekyo kiyamba omunnayuganda okutegeera lwaki court martial teyandibadde ng'ekola omulimu ng'ogwo kubanga olaba nti eyaleeta omusango kitaawe mukulu w'amagye omukulu yaleeta nti ayagala kunzita okay kooti esalawo yab'amagye ate abo nabo babe ate bayita mutabanyi ye Ahmed chief of defense anasalawo omusango nasalawo oba bamutte obaki era yeeyo kooti kakati awo oba olaba nti awoleza gavumenti naye w'amagye sekiraga nti tewali justice siyinza kukubba neziba ebintu byo ate n'ojja ewange ez'ekkooti zensalawo obusaga tezekubbye zensalawo nekyokukola okusiba oba okutakusiba so omusango ogwo gwalaze bannayuganda nti kooti y'amagye era si kooti yakusalawo emisango ng'egyo. Ndowooza abantu bakirabye bulungi. Kyatuyambye okunyonyola abantu nti eno kooti teyandibadde kooti yaki yakusala misango gy'abantu. Ffe aba opposition owakana ne Museveni ate akutwala mu kooti ye tiyakusalira omusango gw'okumuwakanya. Eyo kooti y'amazima si amazima. So kituyambye mu ngeri eyo.
Amanya gange nze West Moses akola ne radio Busunga One. Kibuuzo kyange kiri bwe kiti twalabye jjo abaka ba palamenti nga bagenda mu kokasi ya NRM. Era ekintu ekyabadde ku mwanjo nnyo okukyusa oba okutereeza constitution act y'amagye ti kooti y'amagye mubeeremu abantu either abalamula kooti eyo nga bamumanyi ku mateeka. Kino nga gwe omukulembeze okusinza ku mbeera kubanga bannayuganda okusinza kooti enkulu bwe yasalawo bannayuganda baali bafunye essanyu mu mutima kandi kino okusinziira ku kino ekyakokasa yabaddewo. Gwe ng'omukulembeze kino kiba kiraga ki kifaananyi ki eggwanga Uganda bwe ligenda?
Wankutegedde
tugenze nga tulabanga buli nsonga yonna palamenti oba gavumenti gyeyagala okuyisaawo eyita kokasi yaba NRM. Era bagenda okuvaayo kola era ku nkomeero etteeka eyo lituukanga erikola ki neriyita. Tugenze okulaba nga etteeka ekooti y'amagye kooti enkulu yavaayo nekuba mu ttooki nga kooti eyo eri mu bumenyi bw'amateeka wali ebintu ebibulamu. Naye kokasi eyatudde jjo omutwe omukulu ennyo gwabadde okutereeza kooti y'amagye mubeere nga eri abannayuganda.
Anamwetegereza simanyi oba nkutegedde ekibuuzo kyo kiwanvu.
Omanyi kyoba okola ndabye toni y'olusoga gyakutegedde. No, say it in English.
Now, right, honorable, kooti yange eri bweti. Kooti enkulu yavaayo n'ekirambula bulungi.
Kyuse mu luzungu.
Kooti enkulu yavaayo n'ekirambula ati kooti eno teesobola kukozesa bantu nga siki nga sibanamagye. Ku nkomeero abannayuganda babadde bafunye essanyu mu mutima. Yesterday twagenze okulaba kokasi ya NRM yatudde nga baagala okukomyawo kooti maaso ekomewo era ekola omulimu gwakyo. Omukulaba okuku ekyogerako otya lwaki bo ababaka ba palamenti kubanga tusaze wetukiraba kiringa 8% etteeka lino linga erigenda okola ki?
Nakubuulidde nti abo ba MPs kakati balinga 5 akalulu akagwawo wakomawo 2 byokka 2 abangi tebakomawo. Ku lw'ensonga eyo bwe bajja mu palamenti President Museveni abakozesa agenda ye ey'okutwala obufuzi bwonna. Abantu babagoba era ne kati bwe bagenda mu palamenti ne babasaba ne bakyusa constitution n'amateeka nti bazzeewo kooti marshal okusala emisango y'abasivilian tebajja kukomawo. Abantu bajja bagoba bayige kubanga Museveni kakati yeetunulamu nti yetteeka kyayagala kyonna kifuuka teeka n'akikola. Etteeka bwe bateririiwo aliteekawo yeerabamu ng'etteeka. Naye ba palamenti bwe bamukkiriza n'abakozesa tebajja kukomawo bakimanye. Yes.
nga kooti eya bulijjo kati eri misango gino?
Ekyo ekibuuzo sina ansa kubanga luli twalwana nnyo okumujja mu kooti ey'amagye era nzijjukira olunaku olwo bwe twamugjayo lwali lunaku 2 January twamugjayo naye omusango ne baguwa omusajja ng'ayitwa Justice Katuutsi yakola amazima n'asala omusango obulungi omusango n'agigoba naye oyo omusajja bw'okigendera tebaamuyisa bulungi oyo judge toosa kati yafa akirwa simanyi naye tebaamuyisa bulungi kubanga yakolera ku mazima ate nga tebaagala mazima so okwegamba bajudges abamu twesiga nti tujja kufuna judge anaakolera ku tteeka tetumanyi bwe tufuna omu ku bajudge abakolera Museveni ekyo tukiraba tujja kugenda mu court of appeal ate tukole ki kirabika ebirala bya press conference endala.
No, you talked a lot of things in English. Maybe we would like you oyogere ku mbeera ya Dr. Kiiza Besigye nga bwe wagambye eggulu bwe wamusisinkanye ng'ali mu katebe embeera eyo gy'alimu ne bwe wamukyalirako in Uganda obutuwumbireko mu Uganda.
Kano Dr. Besigye namukyalidde jjo era nga talina maanyi tasobola kujja ku senta okulaba abagenyi be naye banzikiriza nengenda museero nemulaba museero ye abadde yeebase nga tayinza kutuula amaanyi tayina naye nga yasazeewo nti kasita kati bakkiriza nti ngende mu kooti eya civilian gy'okugaana emmere mbirese ngenda kutandika kulya n'asaba nti tumuleetere fruits obutunda n'ebirala so nalese nga n'obuugi nalese nga atandise okulya naye ku by'ensonga eza kooti ekituufu emisango gye bamusibyewo ya bulimba bamusibyewo treason ate egiri gye basooka nayo mu court martial bagivuddewo ndowooza bakirabye nti eri ebadde ya
Okay, kale njagala okulisayoko ewa Dr. Winnie Byanyima watu basobola okubanga atunyonyola ensonga bwe zitambudde za retired Colonel Dr. Kiiza Besigye omusibe kati yali mu kkomera ly'eruzira agezaako okubanga wera ennemba n'emisango mingi egyamuguddwako ng'egyokulya mu nsi y'olukwe n'emisango emirala oyo abadde ayogera ye Dr. Winnie Byanyima mukyala Munnayuganda era nga yazaalibwa mu ggwanga lyaffe lino erya Uganda Ninaku z'omwezi 13 Januari 1959 wezi egy'obukulu nkaaga mu mukaaga era nga ye mukyala wa Dr. Kano Kiiza Besigye mukyala muyivu nnyo era nga ssaawa zino ye executive director wa UNAIDS so right now ebitiibwa yabyeyambudde n'agamba nti akadde kano kakuwolereza mwami wange Kano Kiiza Besigye mbeere nga ndaga ensi eno nti omwami kyaliko kyekyo kituufu bamuvunaana bwemage era ebigambo ebimwogerwako byonna bya bulimba tebiriimu yadde n'ensa. Asinzidde Makaaga bwe kasanga tayogedde ebintu byadde bingi nnyo nga bw'obiwulira era ng'akadde kano negattiddwako muganda wange Jengo wano waali Israel. Tugenda kubanga twogera ku nsonga. Jengo sooka obuuze ku balabi ba Baba TV tuyiteeyitemu kwogera kwa mukyala Winnie Byanyima tulabe ensonga nga bwe zitambudde sayidi zeeyo muganda waffe Mwesigye gy'abadde.
Abalabi ba Baba TV abalungi ebigambo mubiwulidde teruwoomisa nakabululu Uganda bw'agamba
ng'enjogera ennaku zino bw'egamba.
Naye nga ffenna tetunasalira mwami Dr. Kiiza Besigye musango. Kirungi omusango gwe gwaggiddwa mu kkooti y'amagye. Tetumanyi gwavuddeyo gutya kati katulinde ebinaava mu kkooti ensukkulumu. Omusango egyamuguddwako gyakulya mu nsi yerukwe. Guno si gwe mulundi ogusoose. Simanyi oba wadde onsimbudde.
Mbadde sirina kusimbula naye era kankusimbula tubeere nga tutambula.
Mumireko tutambule mpolampola tugezeeko
tumulungula ensonga nga bwe zibadde. Abamubuuzizza ebibuuzo bingi nnyo Dokita naye ndowooza Oluganda lumutawaanya nnyo. Waliwo agambye era agamba nti kino sikitegedde nendabira ddala nga bamukaluubiriza. Naye ng'ensonga munnamawulire Jengo ono nange tubale tuzigoberera katukunnyonnyolemuko nga bwe bibadde. Jengo.
Omukyala mumwewuliridde. Inginiya Winnie Byanyima ye akyakalambidde agamba nti emisango ejjaguddwa ku balo oba kano retired Kiiza Besigye gyonna gya bulimba. Gavumenti eno yamuseetinze bali mu kumufuleeninga. Okujjukizaako nno katono gw'omulabi wa Baba TV mu mwaka gwa 2025 simanyi bamwami kadima waliridde 2025 ng'ennaku z'omwezi 15 omwezi ogwokuna Dr. Kiiza Besigye ono nga yakava mu buwaŋŋanguse mu ggwanga lya South Africa yakwatibwa naggulwako era omusango gwe gumu ogw'okulya mu nsi y'olukwe. Era bw'otunulira akalulu ka bonna ak'omwaka 2006 2005 wano eno amaze okukwatibwa akalulu ka 2006 omukyalo ono yalabwako n'akatebe aside nga ke kaliko ekifaananyi kya
Dr. Kiiza Besigye. Olw'ensonga
omwami yali akwatiddwa ali mu nkomi eruzira awo tuli mu kalulu kabona akabona ku mwaka 2006. Kikulaga ki eno embeera eriwo essaawa zino tuba tuzenga tugyogerako nti wetuba twolekera nnyo mu kalulu kabona tutera okulaba nnyo bapabuliki bapoliticians ab'amaanyi naddala bali ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti bavaayo nnyo ne baggulwako emisango egyefaananizaako bwegiti nga kano Kiiza Besigye y'omu ku ba victim. Mu kalulu ako kennyini munnamateeka Elias Lukwago
Saalongo
era ne guno yagutuddemu yavaayo n'agamba mulaba tutya bwe tufunayo candidate omulala ne tulipulesinga Kiiza Besigye ayasibiddwa. Omukyala kataliko nga IGG kalisoliso wa gavumenti
Honorable Betty Kamya tuli omwe
oli kunamisango Kamya n'akalambira n'agamba olwono tannasala ddiiro n'akalambira n'agamba nedda oba Besigye ali luzira oba tali luzira ffe candidate gwe twagala. Jjukira era yali yavuganyaako
nzijukira FDC ebiseera ebyo yali amaanyi nnyo Katonga awo erina abaana ab'amaanyi ennyo erina ba Honorable Nathan Nandala Mafaabi abo nga bavubuka kwegamba nga bali mu mbavu yali mpitirivu nnyo naye ne bagamba nti kano Kiiza Besigye kwe tugenda okuba nga tuwa
kulembeze. Omundu gwe yasooka okuvuganya ne mwami Museveni yakwata kifo kyakubiri kitaga nti yali musajja w'amaanyi. So emisango w'ekiti ejja kulya mu nsi y'olukwe si gwe gusoose
bazzi bagimuvunaana
just nkuziza emabega okulaga
Ezra Jengo
gimuggulwako
tukayite kagenderere nti President Museveni abamuvuganya bonna bavunaana emisango egy'okulya mu nsi yaabo. Akwani bwana Kyagulanyi ono Honorable President wa Nuupu twamulabako nga bamuvunaanira emisango gye gimu egya treason. But ekisinga okunnuma kiri kimu n'ekisinga okunyumira nti finally bwe bagenda bajejazi ne bava ne basala emisango egyo bagisalanga abantu bano tebalina musango kyokka nga emisango gino gimaze ebbanga mu kkooti. Waliwo judge Honorable Byanyima gwayogeddeko awo yatuula mu musango ogw'emabega eyo judge oyo agambye nti ayinza n'okuba yafa ssaawa zino yasalako omusango n'agamba Dr. Kiiza Besigye talina musango talina kinaki naye agamba nti bamunyiigira nnyo abali mu gavumenti ne babanga omusajja ono kwegamba buli kyaleeta oba buli kyayogera nga bagamba teyali ku ludda lwa gavumenti. So ndowooza buli ajja kati ssaawa zino tugambe nti ayina kubeera ku sayidi ya gavumenti.
Ate kati n'ebirala bye tugenda okulaba omusango guno gukyalimu ebinene bingi ebigenda okuzuuka
ogwa dokita
wakati tunawulirawo of course emisango gyamusomeddwa kati tulinza atwalibwe mu kooti ensukkulumu tulawo waginamusika omusango guno egukusinga oyinza okusibwa bagayita mayisa oba n'okuttibwa webwanga gukusinza
wano Uganda ekyokuttibwa tukirulinge out tusobola kubaawo asisubira kulaba President Museveni nga wanika Dr. Besigye kalabba I think that will never happen tekisobola kubaawo tutongere okutanya ebigambo bya then tujja kwegatta ku munnange Mwesigwa abeere nga atuwa ku paati y'Olusoga abasoga mwenna abagiriko tujja kubanga twongera obba bulya mu Lusoga ebigambo bya Dr. Winnie Byanyima byayogedde of course enkima tesala gwa kibira Dr. mwagadde nnyo ndowooza bakyala baffe mwenna n'abawala betukwana mwenna mutunuulira ensonga ya Dr. ne tuba tulina obutakkaanya bwekibiki naye bwembeera mu kizibu olina okuvaayo ekiremye abawala b'ennaku zino n'abakyala ne bakyala baffe bwembanga namunyiizo oba twafunamu obutakkaanya era bwenfuna obuzibu ajjayo ekintu kino tetugenda kubanga tukwatagana naye omukyala ono mulabye ebiseera bingi nnyo ng'avaayo n'adifendinga Kano abadde nga ku sayidi ya Kano always Kano takola kibi ku sayidi ya Honorable Byanyima so ekintu ekyo njagala okumuwa ebimuli mugambe nti webale nnyo webale ddala Dr. Winnie Byanyima tusimire ddala ezimu ku nsonga zayogeddeko ayogedde ku gye bavudde ne Kano Kiiza Besigye olunaku lwe yamugamba nti agenda kwesimba bavuganye President Museveni n'amugamba nti mwami nedda togendayo nti lwaki nti ebintu bingi bijja kukyuka era omukyalo n'agambye nti okuva ku olwo ebintu byakyuka okuva Kano Kiiza Besigye yavayo n'ayatula n'agamba nti agenda kwesimba mu President Museveni n'ewakaawe security yeeyongera waliwo ennyumba eyabali okumpi awo eyab'ebyokwerinda baagigula ne bateekamu ne kamera nnene bweti era agambye nti okuva ku olwo meeting tebazikolera nga wakaawo bazijjawo nga teziriiwo bingi byayogedde watuuse ku nsonga ya Kano Kiiza Besigye okubanga yagenda e Nairobi okubanga agenda mu kulonkinga akatabo wanagambye nti yakimanyaako ng'omwami wanagamba omukyala we namutegeeza kutangamba nti ngende eno neeri nina omwami gwe ngenda okusinkana agenda tuwa funds ez'enjawulo okuba omanye waliwo ekibiina ekigenda maaso n'okukolebwa ekya PFF abagenda kufuna funds n'ebirala naye omwami oli yamulyamu olukwe agenda otuuka eyo n'akatabo gye yagenda okukalonkinga gye bamukwatireyo ne Haji Obeid Lutale ezisaculate agambye nti mumubeere ne audio zammwe muzireete mu kooti so bwe munazireeta mu kooti tunalaba ekiddirira kasa munaaba n'obujulizi obuluma Kano
omusango guli mu kooti mayi kati ffe tetukkirizibwa kwogera ku nsonga za kooti okusalira muntu musango already fayiro eri mu maaso g'omulamu
naye eriya process Dr. Kiiza Besigye gyayita mu ssaawa zino ne banna abali ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti ye process entuufu munnabyabufuzi omutuufu gy'alina okuyitamu Kano Kiiza Besigye akola history akola ebyo by'anaagamba mukama wana batamusse kuba Besigye emyaka gye girabika nga gigenderedde naye si nnyo mu byobufuzi tulaba Joe Biden abadde n'emeka eregeza nti Besigye asobola okujja n'afuga eggwanga lyaffe erya Uganda ebyo byalina okwogera bamandira bwe baali nga mu Robben Island ne babatwala ne babasibeeyo era baavaayo finally ne bajja ne banyumya ebyo okitegedde so bakola stories bakola byafaayo era nga history ajja kukolebwa era akoleddwa ajja kusomebwako katusabe bulamu bubeewo tulabe ate nga bwe binaatambula
so ebyogeddwa omukyala agambye mwenna balina audios ezo zemulinkinga ku mikutu gye mugatta bantu nti Dr. Kiiza Besigye yalina enjogerezeganya n'omuntu omu mu ggwanga lya Kenya nga balina ekigendererwa kyakugjamu gavumenti eno mu buyinza nti ezo muzeesigalize muzireete ng'obujulizi mu kooti then ne bino ebyogerwa nti Kano Dr. Kiiza Besigye propaganda ebyo binyini ebitingana ku mikutu gye mugatta bantu n'abantu ababyogera nti byonna bya bulimba baawe mumufuleminga naye bino byonna kikulaga ki kati katulina ensalo ya kooti
kyekisinga obukulu
kirungi emisango gyamusomeddwa kati tulinze kinaava ew'omulamuzi
tulabe omulamuzi kyanaagamba
omanyi ebintu byo bizibu so katulinde omulamuzi kyanaasalawo omusango gunamusinga bamusalire ogutamusinge nga tulaba ekiddako but for now ebyogerwa bikyayogerwa bulimba oba si bya bulimba
Mukama Katonda yasinga okubanga amanya
omulamuzi kati tukimulekedde
bamubuuzizza waliwo munnamawulire atansanyusizza nnyo right now mu situation gye tulimu abuuzizza mukyala Byanyima namugamba nti okwesimbawo kuba president mu kalulu akajja akabiri 26 akabona mugaye nti si byalowoozaako saawa zino bannamawulire nammwe ndowooza jengo gwe munnamawulire bwemubanga mubuuza ebintu omukyala saa zino ali mukungubaga mbeera bbawe tannajja nabi kiro kyo bomubuuza ekibuuzo bwe kiti
ate n'ekirala essaawa zino ku mbeera eri mu ggwanga nga abantu abamu bakyabuziddwawo abanuupu mwami Nyazi yaleeteddwa na droppings ne bamuteeka ewaka ewuwe tetunnamanya bani ababadde naye bano abakulira electoral commission ebyokulondesa mu kibiina ki national platform wabalabye nabo badde babuziddwawo tetunnamanya bulungi walabye esaaki eyakoleddwa ku bitebe bya so nga tuli mu mbeera ey'obunkenke mu ggwanga sandyagadde nnyo twekuuse ku kalulu ka bonaako mwaka 2026 omanyi ki butogenda kutuukayo omanyi kyekanatuukira ng'oli mu kkomera so fena twesabire sooke tusabire embeera erimu mu ddiiro tusooke tugijjewo then tulyoke tulee
wadde nga nako katuuse sseba akalulu kuba campaigns
nakugambye nti mu mwaka guli gwe tugambye 25 era walaba ekyaliwo Dr. Kiiza Besigye tugenda tuka mu nominations ng'ali muki ali luzira so anything can happen ayinza okuvaayo n'alangira nti agenda kujja yeesimbewo era ng'ali luzira era ne tuddamu ne tulaba embeera eyo yaliwo mu mwaka gwa 2025 so nga tetunnatunuulira akalulu ka mwaka 2026 soke tutunuulire embeera eriwo essaawa zino ejiddwawo etya what is the solution embeera eriwo abantu bakyabuzibwawo nga eno nuupu bagamba office zajiddwamu ebitwala bire place kirungi poliisi yavuddeyo neerambika ku nsonga eyo nansonga lwaki bakoze police search bakoze search mu kitebe kya national unity platform wagirabye so nga tukyalina embeera eyo mu ggwanga sandyagadde nnyo tulowooze ku kalulu k'omwaka 2026 for now
ate nga right now kyetulina okukola kulowooza kalulu olaba kaliyo mu covid jengo tebusobola kukya nga bagamba nti tekaliyo
tukyalina embeera eno eyokubeera nga tukyalina bapolitical mbayite ntya
actors
nga bakyalimu n'emisango ga Dr. Kiiza Besigye nga kyalina emisango nga tumanyi muntu wa muzinzi munene nnyo byobufuzi bw'eggwanga lino Uganda ng'akyawera ennemba n'egyokulya mu nsi y'olugwe eno nuupu bakyawera ennemba n'emisango egy'okubuzibwa abantu baabwe bakyabanja abantu baabwe tusooke tumalawo n'embeera tusooke bakuyita kumulungula
ensonga zino zisobole okuggwa kale simanyi
konna kajja nyuma nga n'ebibiina bino biri stable
Moze simanyi oba mugara wange Mwesigwa ali stede mbeere nga njogerako naye mu nsonga z'olusoga tubeere nga atubuulira ebintu nga ebitambula tulabe mu dakika ng'emu bbiri tujja banga tumwegattako muganda wange Mwesigwa gyali eri kasanga gyagezaako okuba nga agoberera ensonga za Dr. Winnie Byanyima nga bwe zigenda okuba nga zitambula nga bwe ziri nsonga Dr. Kiiza Besigye nengeddeko awo Harold Kaija mulengeddeko awo nga waali n'abalala bangi nnyo abakulu nabadde simanyi by the way no press conference kunze badde so surprised okubanga gye yali bagitaddeyo omanyi mukyala Byanyima oyo always tumulaba naye okuvaayo n'ayogera omanya ensonga ekutte wansi ne waggulu mukyala tatera kuvaavaayo n'ayogera ku nsonga ezo naye finally leero avuddeyo n'agamba nti nvuddeyo nzoogedde kino ne kino mpozi waliwo ne ka statement kakoze awadde President Museveni amagezi retiring CDF ajje n'omuhozi Kayine Rugaba amutwala muse mu bintu ebirala amuggyemu lwaki jengo Dr. balowooza nti kino ekintu President Museveni si akirimu direct nti kirimu gye n'omuhozi
ensonga eno abanene bangi ensonga lwaki abantu bangi balowooza nti nsonga kati ya famire na famire nti mwami Museveni avaayo leero n'ayogera gye n'omuhozi obuduumizi bwa UPDF n'avaayo n'ayogera kati ziringa famire ebbiri eziri mu kubagana naye atuusa wali n'akirambika bulungi nti zino mutijje mu personal affairs kino tuteekerawo kirabira nti zino nsonga za buntu eno nsonga nnene nnyo ensonga yagezze tulekerawo girabira awo okumpi so ensonga ya CDF okubira mu nsonga eno ye muduumizi w'eggye bw'avaayo n'agamba nti gundi yakwatibwa n'emmundu
ng'ate gwavunanyizibwa ku ya security mu ggwanga obadde omuduumizi wa UPDF gwalina okubeera n'emmundu abantu b'oduumira bebalina okubeera n'emmundu ono emmundu agikozesa ki okitegeera so ebibuuzo bingi ansa zikyali ntono oba yayimba akayimba ako simanyi
ebibuuzo bingi nga
tulize era nze kubesunza okuwulira omusango guno nga gutambula nze nga gufolowinga mpolampola okubeera ddala mu kooti y'amagye paka olunaku lw'ejjo yasomeddwa omusango gw'okulya mu nsi y'olukwe giro olwo gyamugiddwako tegyamugiddwako so that's the question.
Twagala tukusiibule tubeere nga tuyongera ne programs zaffe endala mwesigwa ndowooza tulemedde okuba nga tumufuna tujja banga tumufuna olunaku olulala njagala okwebaza okubanga obaddeko gyengeri awaatu basobole okuba nga asunsula ensonga zonna ku Baba TV nga bwe bitambula tujja banga twongera okuba nga tubikutegeeza tujja banga twongera okuba nga tubikuwa ate obeere ng'obimanya mukwano gwange tambula n'okumanya ng'olaba Baba TV obusoga bulayire njagala okukuzayo baraffe mu control room Moses webalinyo baliddala banafe abadde mu field nengedde muganda wange mwesigwa abaddeyo ani abadde ku kamera Medi abadde ku kamera ng'agezaako okuba nga akwasaganya ensonga batukuumire mukama katonda atakuumira mpeera musibe bulungi mweraba
katuteteganyemu empeera eno tupeeku ne bye tukutuusaako. Enoni Baba TV obusoga bulayire.